Okay. And we're live. It's SCMP Martial Arts. Nick and Tom here. So I'm going to go on the right, Tom, because I'm facing you now. All right. We are back from our sojourn to Singapore and Manila. Tom's over in Ottawa again. Sounding a little bit fluish, Tom. A little cold going on there. How you feeling?
It's always the same coming back from these trips where you're, drifting between airports, packed onto these airplanes. I tend to get sick when I come back. Last time I was in Asia, I got a little cold when I came back, and here we are going through it again. But the COVID tests are coming up negative, so that's what matters. I think it's just a little bug.
That's a good thing to hear. And it's also pretty cold, isn't it, Tom? I hear it's snowing in Canada there.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, it sucks, man. It's making me pine for Asia. Certainly, I just bought a ticket to go cover the Jakarta show next month or in February, so that's sort of something to look forward to. But for now, yeah, it's getting quite cold over here. Blanket of snow already. It's gonna be a white Christmas for sure.
Oh, you already got your Jakarta tickets. Wow. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, man.
That's some
Just trying to.
dedication there from you, Tom.
Well, I know myself. If I don't act on these things, sometimes I put it off, and then suddenly tickets are, $500-$600 more expensive. So I figured I'd just strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, you can tell me that again. I think I just booked my flight home to the UK when we were in Manila. I was sitting together in Chili's, remember? And you came back in, and I was just pretty glum. And you said, what's wrong? I said, I've just spent 16,000 Hong Kong dollars on the flight home, and I've got to stop in Bangkok and Istanbul. Which it's about £1,600, and before that I was looking at flights about 8,000 a month before that. So yes, definitely get it in early, everyone. But I should probably start looking at my Jakarta ones as well. And but I'm already booked up for Bangkok at least. I will be coming back from the UK and going straight to Thailand. No Hong Kong, so I'll be there
Oh,
on January
amazing.
9th. Yeah, and then we can kick off the coverage for Bangkok. Sadly, Tom won't be there, but I'll do my best to bring you guys the same quality. I'm not gonna lie, Tom. It's gonna be tough without you.
Well, I can help out remotely. I can run the fight companion. I can do some writing and stuff. It just wasn't doable with Bangkok. I don't know if it's just because it's such a hot vacation destination this time of year for Canadians, but the tickets were just outlandishly expensive. So went for Jakarta. Gave myself lots of time too. Nick, you'll be happy to hear. I gave myself like 8 days before the fights really ramp
Oh,
up in Jakarta. So I'll
well,
be
that's good.
primed to go. No jet lag that time.
That sounds perfect. But
Hmm.
yeah, we're here for a reason. We're gonna do the best of 2022 awards, and to be honest, we haven't thought much about this before we came on the air. We're just winging it, so we haven't really outlined what categories we're going to look at, and even our nominations. It's all just a little bit of fun. And Henry Luna in the chat there, you want to do what Henry's doing. Give your picks for things like this. He's saying Mighty Mouse best KO in one this year in terms of stakes and GOAT status. Exactly. So if you have any similar comments you want to say for whatever categories we're offering, please give those in there, and we'll try and get to them in a timely manner. But yeah, I suppose we should kick this off. We don't know we don't want to hang around too long because Tom's a little under the weather. It's freezing here as well, and I've got some other work to do for SCMP Sport Desk as well. I'm running the Sport Desk tonight, I think. So I
I'm just
can't
uh,
hang around all night.
I'm just jotting down some topics we could cover here, maybe off the top of my
Yeah,
head, just so we
yeah.
don't
I'll
forget
keep
anything.
talking. You can wing it. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, obviously, knockout of the year, submission of the year, fight of the year, event of the year, fighter of the year. That's just off the top of my head. That's five awards to hand out. There's obviously maybe controversy of the year.
Yeah, I think we did this about a year ago or in January, and I think we had some other fun ones like best prediction and or like make our bold predictions, and we can maybe
Yeah,
revisit those. I remember what mine was, and it did not come true. Uh, we could do a few other fun ones. I'll try and think, but we don't want
yeah,
to
yeah,
bag on anyone by having like biggest loser or something. So
yeah, yeah.
keep it
I mean, that's
respectful.
obviously me anyway. So
Yeah. But why don't we start with what Henry has suggested the best knockout in one this year? And to be honest, Tom, we're going to put DJ in that conversation, obviously, because of the stakes, as Henry says, and GOAT status. DJ kind of really, there was a lot at stake for him, wasn't there? If he lost to Adriano second time, how's he going to get that belt in one? And then people start saying, oh, well, he can't be the GOAT if he can't get another belt in another organization. Yeah, it was pretty big in terms of that, wasn't it? And it was also a great KO. It was walk off, flying knee, essentially.
Yeah, it's right when I saw Henry's comment pop up there. It feels like a cop out to just go with what he said. Oh, this is a great idea, man. If it wasn't 7 a.m. here, I'd join you. It's a little early for me, maybe 8 o'clock. But yeah, when I saw Henry's comment, my first thought was that's hard to disagree with. Just first of all, because of the significance of the knockout, right? He was avenging a knockout loss. The odds were kind of stacked against him in that one. He's a smaller guy, really fighting for respect in that one. And then on top of that, as you said, Nick, it was a beautiful knockout. It wasn't just that it was a walk-off for me. It was the way he controlled the distance. I remember, talking to you about this right after the fact and, seeing the replays all over social media. You can really appreciate DJ's distance management in that knockout. The way he hurt him and then just stayed the perfect distance away from him, that he wasn't too close, wasn't too far away, and then just slams him with that knee. It was the most, just a brilliant display of athleticism and reflex and technique all at once. So I have a hard time arguing with that one. Having said that, we haven't really discussed this all that much. I'm sure there's lots of knockouts I'm forgetting. So if anybody in the comments wants to remind us of some great knockouts this year, feel free. But for the moment, yeah, it's hard to disagree that in terms of significance and just the beauty of the knockout itself, it has to go to DJ for me, I think.
Yeah, I'm just tweeting this link out. So again, I haven't prepared very well for this, but there's a few people on the internet I know will be angry at me. I didn't give them enough warning to join in. So come join us if you can. That one is, I think that's the first time we've ever been clipped up. Is that the real Jared Brooks? Here he is. I wonder.
I doubt it.
If it is Jared, good to see you again and hope you're doing well, champ. We've had a few people impersonate fighters on the show. Sometimes
Song joins us. Yeah. Every time, right?
Well, Jared, hopefully it is you. You might be winning an award or two from us in this show, so stay tuned. Back on the KO, I just want to say it was the first time we've ever been clipped up. I've ever been clipped up in my career. So I do have fondness for that KO. We were on YouTube. I think I showed you that one.
Oh, right.
Some funny reactions from you, me, and John, JHK.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. But
yeah,
I have to give some love. If we're talking about best KO of the year, we got to be thinking Anthony Malik in there. We just saw this man in Manila put the lights out on the champ, Ritter in frightening style. Honestly, stretchers were needed, and wow. Brutal was bloody, it was violent, and it was swift, and he predicted it, and it was I think what more can you say? So that's got to be in the conversation, surely.
It does, man. And I can't believe I forgot about that one. That's the problem with doing these things off the cuff at 7 a.m., on my first cup of coffee here. You forget about things. But, the DJ one, I will say, is probably more significant overall to just like the history of one championship. We'll look back on that one, I think, as a more significant moment just because he avenged the loss. And it also set up the trilogy for the United States. It's rife with implications in so many ways. But in terms of just like violence, that Malikan KO may not have just been the best knockout of the year in one championship, but the best knockout of the year outright. I mean, I can't recall a more violent, more worrying knockout than that this year in any organization. Certainly there were some nice kick knockouts elsewhere, but like you said, there was the stretcher. There was some real concern for De Ritter, which is of course not what we want, but yeah, just a nasty knockout that was. So, if that's not my pick for knockout of the year, it's right there in number 2. All it's Sam, and it's been a good year for knockouts in World Championship, hasn't it? But it always is.
Yeah, and as Bobby Brown says here, Jared Brooks probably had the best year in 2022. That will be one of our awards, I think. Yeah, who had the best year or best fighter. But we're going to stick with the knockout. And Jared, this is the real Jared. I don't think Superpod had a knockout this year. He's only fought once, hasn't he, in March? So we can't really include him. He did have a brilliant win over Murat. Murat Gregorian at 1X. Mm-hmm. But he's missed a couple of other fights now. But anyway, best KO. I'm trying to rack my brain, Tom, because does anything come to mind for you?
Obviously,
are we sticking with MMA? Are we being fair?
I think for knockout we can include all the above. Trying to think off the top of my head if there was anything. I'm looking at all the events on Tapology here, but that only shows me the headline, right, or the headliner.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a quick scan of the past events as well.
Yeah, there were some good
I
ones,
think,
man. I mean, like even some nice, meaningful TKOs. Obviously, Christian had that come from behind stoppage there against Abasov, but I wouldn't say that's a knockout of the year contender. Just like a nice
well,
moment, you know.
I'm gonna give some more love to our man Anatoly Malakin because you and I watched him win the interim heavyweight belt with a pretty good knockout as well of Kirill Krashenko. So
That's true.
another. He also got a double bonus there. The man made $200,000 in bonuses this year.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no kidding.
Anatoly goes in twice for his award. He's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing
And
very
then
well.
I'm going to go through. Yeah, I don't see. Looking at the January events now, that was only the Brave, wasn't it? January 28th.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think. God, there were some weird events this year.
they were, man. Yeah,
Well, nothing else really jumping out at us. So that probably means
I think,
there aren't any.
and I'm gonna keep track of what we're picking here, Nick. Maybe a winner and a runner up for each
Bobby
one.
Brown. That's a good point here. Yeah. Felipe Lobo's knockout by Longo.
That
1X was pretty good.
That was amazing, but what detracts from that one for me was just the fact that it was a bit of a mismatch. You know, no disrespect to Felipe Lobo, but that was a short notice fight. If I recall, he stepped in to replace somebody on like 10 days notice or something. And not just that, but against Nongo, who's, you know, the best of the best right now. So yeah, beautiful knockout. But I think that one just, you know, it wasn't as competitive as say DeRitter and Malakin or DJ and Adriano on paper. I don't think.
Yeah, another one from Jared here saying Hu Yong. Yeah, that might be recency bias again, but very good knockout of Jehei Eustachio in Manila. So, you know, you were in the back, I think, Tom, interviewing someone, and I told you.
Yeah, I missed that one. Yeah.
Very good knockout there. He can be in the combo. I'm not unhappy with that for sure. Do we put Time Lay and Gary Tonin in something like that, or again, would you say is it a mismatch in hindsight?
Maybe in hindsight, a bit of a mismatch. But again, that fight was a little bit like DeRitter and Malakin, right? Where it's like you have one guy who's going to be trying to grapple and one guy who's going to be trying to get the knockout. Whoever really gets the game plan going is going to win and win quickly. And that's what happened, right?
We can put that.
I feel, yeah, I think that deserves a mention. Maybe let's do. I'm just keeping a list of our picks here, and we can kind of narrow it down after the fact, Nick.
Okay. Well, I would also add Lineker and Viviano. You know, it's got to be on there.
Yeah. Maybe we can do like a top 5 for each.
Section
and then something like that.
I think Roman quickly has had a couple of really good knockouts, which would be unfair not to mention at least.
Right. Yeah.
You know, light heavyweight kickboxing title defense against Murat Aygan, and that was February. And then we had the one, just in Singapore recently. It was pretty spectacular against the big man. I forgot his name.
Aziz.
Raj
Azizpour. Yeah.
So
I think I was backstage for that one too. I missed some good knockouts from the sounds of it.
Honorable mentions to him, and then I think you got to give some love to Fabricio Andrade. First round stoppages of Jeremy Pacatu and Quan Monel. I think both with body shots. And then he stopped. Who else? Or is that in December?
I think that's.
Anyway, he's been pretty active this year, but I think we've got to mention him. You know.
Right.
And then
for
Sebastian Kadistan knocking out Yuri Lapicus was pretty good.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was definitely a good one.
I should have prepared a little bit better for this, but I think we've got a decent mix now.
I think we're doing well with the help of our friends here in the comments.
Yeah, who else is adding? Go on. Fabricio Andrade did some nice ones this year. Yes, indeed. 1X, I'm just scanning briefly. Anything major, just Lobo and Nongo there. That's fine. I think we're covered from 1X. And then
There was a lot of events this year, man.
Yeah, there were, I think, a lot of fights on the card, but I think we got a good mix there. If you're happy with it.
Yeah. I think that covers us for knockout of the year. Should we do submission of the year? Because I've got something to suggest right off the bat.
Yeah, okay. Go for it.
I think Angela's submission of Stamp would be up there for me, just given the context, headlining the 10th anniversary show, coming back from the pregnancy, fighting the Grand Prix winner who looks, like she's got all the momentum. There was a lot of reasons to pick against Angela in that fight. And she not only rose to the occasion, but really fought through some adversity in that first round, was hurt by the body shot, and then was chasing submissions for quite a while, but just couldn't hit them. Kept missing arm bars, triangle chokes, not missing them, but Stamp was defending well, but she just didn't give up. She really showed that dog she has inside her, and I think, just the significance and the kind of lead up to that one makes it a front runner for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I want to add one more. I might add a couple KOs in, but I don't think they would win. So maybe I just want to mention Pampayak against Sabas Michael.
Yeah, and also Superlek had the nice knockout too.
But I don't think they'll win. So we'll move on. Submission wise, I want to throw in.
And another knockout that must be mentioned, man. Liam Harrison's knockout of Muay Thai.
Yeah, I mean that might be my fight of the year pick, so I might.
Yeah. But still, it was a knockout, or it wasn't a stoppage after 2 knockdowns. I think we got to give that one some love as often as we can.
You keep it in there. Spectre submissions. I'm thinking Tiger Rotolo and Gary Tonin, just because I think for me, out of all the submission grappling matches they've had, that was the most eye-catching kind of finish and matchup. A lot of people were interested to see how Gary would do after the knockout loss to Tanle, and I've told the story a few times. I think, but I was training at Bangkok at the time. I was stuck in Thailand in Phuket, so I was. I think I just finished a BJJ class in the evening, and then I kind of whipped out the laptop and said, "Oh, one championship's on tonight." And the twins are debuting, so a bunch of people huddled around the laptop, and you could see it caught people's attention. So I think for me, that's in there.
That's a good one, yeah. Trying to think who else got nice subs this year, even just in the grappling. There was a Brazilian guy.
With KOs as well. This is Bobby.
True.
Liam Nolan, that one was pretty spectacular.
That was a good one. Oh man, I just said. Oh, and the Nikki Holzken knockout too was pretty crazy that hit.
Yeah, that was 1X. All right.
Yeah. Man, I just had a submission on the. Buchecha submitting Kirill Grushenko with like a heel hook in 15 seconds. It was pretty sick.
Yeah, get that in there. I think so.
Yeah.
Any other subs? I'm trying to think.
Oh, RDR hit his sub on Big Dash. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, you can throw that in because I think it was just so impressive, the strength.
Yeah, these things get less impressive in hindsight, just because we've seen RDR lose now, it somehow takes away, it shouldn't take away from that performance, but I think it just naturally, that's kind of how people respond to losses like that, right? But I mean, when that one happened, that was about as impressive as it gets.
Yeah, I want to show some love to, when I was there, Pet Morakot to one chef, that card. There was a very quick sub in a grappling match.
I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
Rodrigo Morello.
Was that like the
Ruslan Bagdasarian? I want to say it was within about 15 seconds. So
yeah, that's like a leg lock or something.
Yeah, I want to put him on there.
Was that the guy with the big hair?
Yeah, Rodrigo Morello.
Why can't I see him on here? I was at the Tamachai Pet Morakot
one. Tamachai Pet Morakot card. Nothing else is really jumping out. I think. I'm wrecking my brain.
Odie Delaney had that nice sub in his debut. Yeah, that's a good one. But was that this year? His first? I can't remember. And also, I've been thinking about him.
He had a nice one in January or February. Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell happened to that guy? I feel like he had a lot of momentum in the heavyweight division. Like people were talking about him. I interviewed him, and I was totally not that I was judging a book by its cover necessarily, but he was a totally different guy than I expected when I interviewed him. Super, friendly, outgoing, really endearing guy. And I feel like a lot of people were starting to feel that way about him. He's this beast in the cage, but a really interesting guy outside of it. Seemed that way at least. And then we just stopped hearing about him for 6 months. So I just sort of feel like if he had fought again, he might be one of these guys we're talking about in there with Malikin and Bular and Amir and so on. But
yeah, I think I'm sure he'll be back. I don't think he's got any beef.
Yeah.
We'll show some love to, I think, Shamil Gasanov. He subbed Kim Jae-young in about 2 minutes on his debut in the first round. Is given Kim's status as essentially the former number one contender in the division, is pretty impressive. Just kind of, I'm rewatching it now.
Also, another knockout. Obviously. Another knockout. Sorry to keep going back to those. Was Ilya Framinov beating the crap out of Martin. That was
that was impressive in terms of just the volume, the relentlessness.
What was the submission you just mentioned?
Shamil Gasanov and Kim Jae-young. He tapped him with a rear naked choke in about 2 minutes. I think just impressive way to make a debut.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that guy's going to be a contender very quickly.
Yeah, seems that way.
Yeah. If we're talking knockouts, Tang Kai and Kim Jae-young as well. Sorry, Kim Jae-young.
Yeah. Hey, but then he got one back against Kevin. That was a nice one too, So
yeah.
Anyway, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, as they say.
Exactly. So
the other categories have. Should we move on or?
Yeah,
I think we got like 5 or 6 for subs. We got like 10 for knockouts. You want to the year, like performance of the year, fight of the year, something like that?
Yeah, I think.
Because I think if we're doing fight of the year, or I feel like those should we group those together or?
Fight of the year, let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the front runner is that Liam Harrison Muay Thai fight, but I'm also going to give love right after the gate to that Hiroki Akimoto fight with Capitan at 1X that you missed because you were backstage. That one just every now and then there's a fight that just, I don't know, electrifies you for some reason. It was a great fight objectively, but for some reason I just found his performance so sick that night. And Capitan, the way he hung in there and was firing back the whole time. So those would be my 2 picks for fight of the year, I think.
I am struggling to disagree with you. I think I did enjoy Superbon and Murat. I thought that was really good as well. Same night, right? Or same day.
Yeah, that was kind of similar too, where it was like one guy just sort of like taking control, but the other guy was tough enough that it made it a good fight,
I think Christian Levy, I was just
gonna say that, yeah. And the first round drama obviously made that one really exciting.
Yeah, and I think you could throw in maybe Angela and Jong's trilogy. It was pretty exciting.
That was a good fight, yeah.
More first round drama, and then of course a lot of controversy after. I don't know if you include that in the remit, but I don't think anything else we're missing too much. Please give us your picks. Anyone in the chat if we're missing a complete banger. Tawanchavi Semapet. I don't know. A lot of people enjoyed Tawanchavi Pet Marcotte. I just I wasn't too.
I found that fight was it didn't move me. I thought it was good, but it was more that it was competitive and like hard to score. I think that sort of added some drama to it for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Just trying to think anything else we're missing for a fight of the year. I don't think
we're definitely missing something. I'm sure.
Probably.
A
lot of people saying, or some people in the chat saying, echo Ronnie's submission of your Y2K.
Right. Yeah.
I think we're okay to move on then from.
I'll give a little bit of love to that first round between DJ and Rodtang. Special rules fight, obviously, but that was pretty crazy. Just watching
that. I had a lot of fun with that. Cool. But I would say
Yeah.
I enjoyed DJ versus Moraes too
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
fight of the year contender. I thought the tension was pretty high there, and the skill level was off the charts.
Right.
Don't know
Yeah,
if it
for sure.
sneaks in. Um, I think that about does it though.
Yeah. Well, if we're covered in that, shall we do fighter of the year, upset of the year? Upset of the year, I feel like Joseph Lasiri is the obvious choice, beating Punk Siri.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
We can maybe just kind of gloss over that one. I think that was like as far as the actual. I mean, odds are always hard to find for one, but I think as far as like the actual betting line is concerned, you'd have a hard time finding like a money line that was betrayed in that way.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm drawing blanks. I think maybe I thought Hu Yong beating Jay was a bit of a shock. You know, former champ.
Certainly the way he did, yeah,
When
definitely
he did it as well.
Yeah,
it was pretty surprising. Tiffany versus Ritu. What for?
That was a submission, I think, right?
Yeah. Do you mean Aiden for submission or for shock? Because it wasn't a shock to me. Tiffany's very, very good. Was it an upset? I don't think it was an upset either.
Maybe
Tiffany
a little bit, but yeah. Well,
yeah.
You want to do here a good one, fighter of the year? I feel like there's some really obvious ones for that.
Let's just get a few more upsets or what?
Upsets, yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, the obvious one for me is that Joseph Lasiri one. Yeah. I feel good giving that to him too after the beating he took against Rodtang. You know, he did accomplish something this year. Let's not forget. You know, I feel like people are going to remember that loss to Rodtang, but before that, he was riding high on a pretty beautiful performance and deserves respect for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like Tang Kai beating Tan Lee was not a huge upset, but the way he kind of styled on him for 5 rounds, I don't think anybody was expecting that.
I think Tang Kai and Kim Jae-un as well was a shock.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think Ilya against Martin, so you know that was also an upset.
Definitely, yeah, that's a good one. And that guy, Halil Amir beating Timofey.
Yeah, bit of an upset. Just in terms of newcomers coming in, but they obviously had pretty good records. But you never know, right, until they step into a major promotion. Well, that suits me. I can't think of too many others off the top of my head. I'm just looking now.
Yeah, I'm sort of scanning.
Events. Why don't we move on to what you said?
Yeah, fighter of the year I think is a fun one for us because there were a few fighters this year that really had like career-changing years in one. And the two that jump out to me are Christian and Jared. Obviously, one became a double champ, one became a champ. You know, Jared, I think for a lot of people that was sort of prophetic almost. You know, we were expecting that for a while for him to win the belt. He just seemed like he had the perfect style to run through that division, and he pulled it off in the end. And then Christian, you know, after losing to Okray Yoon, comes back this year, beats Okray Yoon just incredibly decisively, just didn't even let him breathe for the entire time that fight was going, and stops him in the second, I believe. And then and then goes and beats Abasov a weight class up to become a champ, survives a little bit of adversity in the first round. To me, those are two obvious ones. And then I saw someone, Aiden in the comments saying Anatoly. He obviously is right there as well.
He's on the thumbnail, so we got to mention him.
Yeah, I'd say those three off the top of my head. It's hard to argue anyone deserves fighter of the year more than those three.
Yeah, I think those, like Aiden says, I think Anatoly and Christian were the two I thought of. Like Jared, I thought was just below them. But you could group him in. You know,
Jared, you know, he went into enemy territory, won the belts, you know, in the Philippines, backed up all the talk. I feel like this was a breakthrough year for him.
Winning 2 belts, you know, and you got 2 guys who did it.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll definitely have him in the mix. And then I guess you could make a case for Jingnan. You know,
but she sort of
retained the belt.
Yeah,
2 times this year. But the one in January wasn't thrilling, though.
Yeah.
But stopping Angela Lee,
DJ had a great year too, obviously
Not stopping
winning the
there.
belts, and then the crazy Rod Tang win. I'll put him in
Okay.
as an
I
honorable
think you
mention.
want to put Fabricio Andrade in there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he just steamrolled through that division, and he should have won the belt.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
luckily, that may be the only thing counting against him. But I think no one else really springs to mind. You could have had Derrida if he'd beaten Anatoly, would have been a shoo-in, because he
for sure.
defended the middleweight belt twice, and then he didn't get subbed by Galvao. Yeah. We're very active this year, but yeah, you could mention a bunch of others like Tang Kai,
Right.
claiming that title shot in such spectacular fashion and winning the belt. Reggie and Ursel deserves a shout. Two like a really good, really really good title defense. Could have lost that belt, the kickboxing belt, won the Muay Thai belt.
Right.
Nongo's
been good, yeah.
Pretty good. Two really good title defenses.
Superbon even, just coming. I only fought once, but just coming defending that belt the way he did. Actually, I feel like you can't. Yeah, too many canceled fights, man.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Rod Tang had a great year, but he always has great years,
Yeah, I think he missing that semi-final was probably going to count him out. All right, yeah, I'm happy with those. Yeah.
Here's one that I just thought of that we can do. Newcomer of the year, somebody who debuted this year. Obviously, we got the Rutolos that came in, started wrecking shop. Halil
Aiden's suggesting Janlo, but is this like a debuter or like a?
Yeah, I'm thinking people that debuted this year, like who debuted and won this year and has gained the most ground, made the biggest splash, made the biggest statements. I think you have to mention the Rutolos, Halil Amir, Ilya Fremenov,
Mikey.
I
think Gasanov as well. Very good debut. It's got to be one of the twins for me.
I think so. Yeah,
probably Cade.
Yeah,
the belt. Yeah, but you could argue as the opposition he's faced been up to his level. I don't know, but he's still very good.
Yeah, he's doing the best he can under the circumstances. He's stopping these people. So yeah I think he would be my new blood or newcomer of the year for sure.
Okay. Smilla Sundell maybe, but she was December, wasn't she? I think.
Yeah, she showed up last year, and she just fought the one time too, which is disappointing, I have to say, because she looked really good in that Jackie fight. She looked. I mean, I don't know who's going to beat her in that weight class.
All right, we'll leave it there. Kate says Bobby Brown. I tend to agree with Bobby on all these things. So.
Yeah. Bobby's a wise man.
Yeah.
All right, I got a few more here, and then we might have to start getting creative. Do you want to do the disappointment or controversy of the year? Like just something that didn't go as planned. We don't have to drag anyone through the mud.
The flyweight Muay Thai Grand Prix for me was a big disappointment.
Yeah.
Just especially the final. It was a fitting end for it when two guys failed to make weight. There were plenty of disappointments, I think. Sadly, a lot of people missing weight.
Yeah, but I think I hadn't even thought of the Muay Thai Grand Prix when I suggested this topic. I think that's the obvious winner for this one, just because it was like sustained disappointment through the entire year. Disappointed at every turn, and it's nobody's fault.
Oh well, we could put that in. We'll list a few contenders we could pick at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I would also add in the Pet Yindi controversy. They were pulling out all their fighters after the beef with Chatri.
And the one I had in mind when I suggested this topic is Roberto Soldich's debut. Obviously,
put that in there.
Kind of a smaller moment, but that was just one instance over the whole year. But in terms of people were really excited to see what he could do in one, and they still are. But in terms of all the ways his debut could have gone, I was about as disappointing as it gets. Even if he had been brutally knocked out or submitted or something, at least then Murad would be the obvious contender, right, for Christian. But that one just sort of
I think that's in there. If we're talking disappointment as well, I think one not
What about?
going back to Tokyo.
Yeah,
uh,
definitely. Eddie
yeah,
leaving kind of
yeah,
maybe
Eddie
was a
leaving as
disappointment.
well.
Yeah,
You can put that in there.
yeah,
I think that should cover us. Nothing else really
yeah.
stands out.
That's good. That's five. You know,
Okay.
we got lots of options here in every category, and we can
Yeah,
run through them all again.
I might be dunking, but yeah, the closed arena shows persisting with those for so long was a bit of a
Yeah,
disappointment for me. After 1X,
yeah,
felt
yeah. You're
one
right.
really lost a lot of momentum. I've not been shy about saying it, and it's sort of
Yeah,
started to regain it around about September, October when they started having shows with fans again in Singapore, and you saw how different it is, Tom, when we were there.
hmm
Just having a bit more buzz and people talking about it. It's hard to
Well,
do that when there's no fans and things like that.
that may lead perfectly into the next category I was going to suggest, event of the year. I feel like it's pretty obvious.
Okay.
It's got to be 1X, maybe the Manila show, just because of the the vibe and atmosphere in the arena. But 1X was what, a triple
Yeah,
header, 3 parts to that one. There's like multiple title fights. There was every
I'm just
sport on the
gonna
one.
I'm gonna look at them all again just so I don't
Yeah,
see anything obvious. But I would say front runner is probably 1X
the first Prime
because
card was pretty significant. Uh,
yeah,
DJ and Adriano. But the problem with that one is that we had the disappointment of the Liam Harrison Nongo fight. That's a disappointment we could mention.
yeah.
There were
If you
some
need
nice knockouts
five,
on that one.
yeah. If you need five, I'd say 1X. That one you just mentioned there.
Yeah,
Pasio versus Brooks. I think just because of the element of the Manila crowd, first time in 3 years.
yeah.
I thought that was really good. And
Um,
then I would think you could say the Abasov Lee Prime card we did, I thought was really good.
that was a good one. Yeah,
The morning show in Singapore, um, a few things fell off it late on, and but I
yeah,
thought it was still a very entertaining card. And maybe, yeah, Angela V. Zhong too
yeah,
had good crowd there. Had some stuff. Stamp was on it. Martin, yeah, a couple of good debuts. Halil and
yeah.
Ilya.
That was a good one. Yeah,
Anissa Maxson.
um,
I really enjoyed that.
that
Sadly,
was
yeah, there's not
the
too much competition, but because of the crowd element. So it's obviously
right.
you want to pick those ones above the ones without crowd. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
just keep it to 4 for that.
We got 5 there. We got
Okay. Yeah, sure.
yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
anyone.
Easy.
Oh, Lights Out was good. Says Bobby. Again, Bobby. Good point, Bobby. I did enjoy Lights Out. If we're gonna pick one
Which one
of the non-crowd
was that? The
cards,
one where
Lights Out.
was that
Bibby
the one
lost
where
to Lineker.
Bibby
Yeah.
lost?
Tan
Right,
Ray won. John Lineker
right.
won.
That was a good one.
Martin had a good comeback. I think. Yeah, it was top heavy, but you had some interesting stuff.
Yeah, that which one is it here?
It's a shocking
Reloaded was
win for Mateus over Silva. Yeah, sorry.
Reloaded was kind of decent too. That was the one that had Regin Urzel's really close fight with Sadikovic in the main event. So that was kind of, but then it had Smila and Jackie, Jared beating Bokong. That was the one that had Liam Harrison and Mung Tai. Daniel Williams had a nice win on that one. That was one where Gustavo Bullart finally became a contender when he beat Saruta. Anissa beat the crap out of Marie Remet on that one.
Okay.
Decent. I don't think that one warrants.
Yeah. Well, we got enough there.
Yeah, yeah. Also had Mikey's debut. Yeah, I think that covers. Well, with that, the only category I have left written down here is predictions for 2023. But I think we can wait on that. There's got to be some other categories we can hit before we. I think we should wrap with our predictions for the new year.
Yeah, sure. I think we've covered all the basic ones, right? Shock, or is that's sort of obvious?
I feel it's kind of an upset, yeah.
We done upset, yeah.
Yeah. We do only have 3 upsets though, so if anyone can think of others, and I have Ponksiri, Halil beating Timofey, Ilya beating Martin. I feel like those last two aren't really even that crazy. It's just because they were making their debuts.
I think that's it then. I'm just scanning the categories from the World MMA Awards in case we're missing.
Oh yeah, good idea.
You had like some of the weirder ones there, like best referee.
What about your moment of hope, dreams, honor, and inspiration of the year? Your really inspiring moment.
Inspiring moment.
I mean, I can't think of any. Which probably says a lot about me.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think I really enjoyed Ongla's speech, kind of after he beat Yushin. I thought, he hadn't really had a fight in front of the crowd for so long, and 3 years, and the crowd was so into him.
Another one that I missed because I was interviewing someone backstage. And I remember I was backstage and I knew Ongla had just walked out. Like I knew the fight was about to start. I was trying to wrap an interview with somebody, I think, and I asked Kwang, one of the One Championship PRs, what happened with the Ongla fight, and she said it was over. And I thought she was bullshitting me because it had been like literally 30 seconds or something. Yeah. And then I went into the arena and he was giving his speech that you just mentioned. God damn it! But it's all right. Sometimes you miss the fights.
Yeah. That's the hazard of the job, sadly. Mm-hmm. Got to shout out Grant Sanders as well, because I think Grant was in Manila and he messaged us on Facebook. I was trying to find a way to interact with you, Grant. Sorry. Try and get us on our Instagram. We're a bit more responsive there. Easier to navigate as well. But I think Grant went to Manila, Hong Kong. Like me, he's going to come to Bangkok as well. Got his ringside ticket already. Can you attend the weigh-ins and face-offs? I'm sure they'd love to have you at the. I don't know about face-offs. You could probably get into the press conference, right? They usually do they did a meet and greet when we were in Singapore, Manila. Yeah. They had fans, so yeah, not certain on weigh-in and face-offs because they keep that closed off. I mean, we have to stand in a designated area. We're not allowed to walk around or anything for those two. Very annoying.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. Don't get me started, yeah. Anyway, yeah, those ones are a little bit less free. But, if there's enough interest, I think they should let fans in. Anyway. All right, how about we just, we go back and decide winners then.
Winners of, narrow it down?
Yeah.
To one person? All right, let's start with submission of the year. I'm going to list off what we have for submission of the year.
Okay.
And then we can each make our pick, I guess, for one.
Let's try and find a consensus. Yeah.
All right, yeah. All right, well, we got Angela and Stamp, Ty and Gary, Buchecha and Kirill, RDR, Big Dash, Shamil Gazanov and Kim, and Tiffany and Ritu. I'm going to stick to my first pick and go with Angela Stamp just because of the context of that one. But I can certainly be swayed, I think.
Oh, read me back again. Angela Stamp.
Angela Stamp, Ty and Gary, Kirill and Buchecha, RDR Big Dash, Shamil and Kim, and Tiffany and Ritu.
I'd be tempted to stick with my original pick, Ty and Gary, just in terms of level of two of the best grapplers out there.
That's a good point.
But
I'm trying to remember what that submission.
I'm just going to say, I'll be controversial, but Angela's subbing Stamp is what we expect, and Stamp, we know Stamp's not great on the ground. She's getting way better, right? But
that's
you
true.
would expect Angela Lee to choke out Stamp Fairtex.
It's a good counter argument. But I think just the fact that it was so difficult for her that she kept going for the sub over and over again. Stamp fought off like 4 of them, 5 of them even, and almost stopped her in the first round. Coming back from the pregnancy, first show with a crowd in forever.
All right, I'll agree with you. We'll pick that, and then runner-up can be Ty.
We can hash it out after the fact too. I'm happy to make it Ty and Gary. I'm not. This isn't a hill I want to die on.
Oh no, I'll accept Angela. We'll give Angela some love there. I think, like you mentioned, the reasons you said,
Yeah, okay, all right. And then our runner-up can be Ty and Gary?
Yeah. If you want to do a podium, you could have Big Dash RDR. No, let's just have a
Yeah.
one runner-up. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. Knockout of the year. This is going to be more difficult, or maybe easier. I don't know. DJ and Adriano, Malakin and DeRitter, Tenkai or Tonley knocking out Gary. I think is what we have. I just have Tonley here. Yeah. Lineker and Bibby. One of Roman's many good knockouts of the year. Huyong and Gehe, Liam and Muang Thai. I feel like we can take that one out because it's in fight of the year. Sinsamut, one of his many beautiful knockouts, or Ilya and Martin. For me, I think it obviously comes down to DJ or Malakin, maybe Tonley.
I'm gonna go for. It's tough, yeah, because you could say Malakin or you could say Tonley, but they're both knocking out BJJ guys, right?
Yeah, for me, this one, the reason it comes down to DJ,
out a master who's never been knocked out.
Yeah, what makes that one special is just the context, right? He had just lost to the guy in the same way he ended up beating him, so it's kind of like he really was out for vindication and redemption in that one. If he had lost that fight, I think it probably would have been. It may have just derailed his career. Like, I mean, it wouldn't take away anything from his legacy, but I think another loss to the same guy in one sort of just would have sucked all the life out of his one career. I just think it was such a crucial moment for him, and he didn't just win; he won in emphatic fashion, beat the guy the same way he was beaten a year before. But then on the flip side, the Malakin knockout is just it has so much merit on the strength of just how violent it was, how nasty it was. I don't know. I'll leave this one to you, man.
Yeah, it's really tough. Really tough. I can't decide.
I think my instinct would be to give it to DJ, just in terms of the significance, and then Malik the runner-up. But that's it really depends on what you value. Do you value just like the knockout itself, or the everything that's encapsulated by the knockout? I don't know. It's.
I'm gonna go with. If we need consensus, I guess DJ. Yeah.
I don't want to be the one forcing the consensus every time. So if your gut says Malakin, guys, let us know in the comments too if you think what should it be for knockout of the year? Should it be Malakin knocking out DeRitter, or should it be DJ knocking out Adriano? Nick and I are at a bit of a standstill here, a bit of a stalemate. We can both see the merit for both knockouts. So if anybody
thinks it should be Malakin just because of the violent nature and the way it left everyone stunned.
That's true. I think we can give it to Malakin, and he took away.
DJ's won enough awards in his life. He's not going.
Yeah, Malakin beat an undefeated guy. I see people. Yeah. Bobby Brown thinks it's RDR Big Dash. Bobby Brown.
That was his sub. Yeah. He thinks Bobby says Malakin RDR for KO. I think he said RDR Big Dash for sub.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we can give it to Malakin.
Okay. Yeah.
And that wasn't. We'll give the runner up to DJ. But Malakin, we're talking about the context for DJs. There's some pretty amazing context for Malakins too. Taking away, the guy's undefeated record, going down to weight class, effortlessly making weight. Doing what he said he was going to do. He said a first round knockout. He did it. He stopped the takedowns. It was really a special performance when you think about it. So I think that's a good one. All right. Okay. Fight of the year. I feel like the options we have here were Liam and Muang Thai, Hiroki and Kapitan, Christian and Abasov, Superbon and Murat, and Angela and Zhang. You want to take the lead on that one? I know what my picks would be for number one and runner up on this one.
You go first.
I mean, I feel like you just have to give it to Liam and Muang Thai. Just do you remember the hysteria after that fight? Like that the entire world was talking about that fight. The fact that they both had 2 knockdowns in the first round. All it was going to take for either guy at that point was one more knockdown in that round, and it was over. And then somehow, against all odds, Liam gets it, sets up the title shot, which obviously ended in disappointment. But that one was just an incredibly violent fight. And then the Hiroki one, it was just one of the craziest kickboxing matches I've seen, man. I just love that one. But there's certainly, I think, arguments for other fights being a runner-up. But I feel like the winner should probably be that Harrison and Muay Thai fight. That was just like
I agree with you
2 minutes of
100%.
condensed violence.
Nothing's going to beat that. It's there. Liam can have another award from us, a less prestigious one than he'll probably get from other outlets. So. But we'll give that. And I agree. Yeah, Akimoto. Even though I didn't see it, I watched it afterwards, and it was pretty good. So.
Yeah, it was a good one, man. And then honorable mentions to Christian and Superbond. There was a lot of amazing fights this year, right? There always are. But I'm content with that, unless you have anything else to add.
No.
Okay, fighter of the year. Here's one that might be a little bit difficult to lock down. Christian, Jared, Anatoly, DJ, Fabricio, and Tenkai are the names that I have down. I think you were before leaning towards Christian and Anatoly just because they both won 2 titles this year. I think trust those instincts.
Fighter of the year. I think, sorry to do this to Anatoly again, but I think Christian has to be, because
well, we did give Anatoly knockout of the year in the end.
So Christian can have fighter of the year. I think the way he won that lightweight belt back after the way he lost it is just something else. He completely leveled up, and I didn't know he could get any better. Even though he's still so young, it's crazy how much he improves every time I see him. And then to do what he did to Abasov after the danger in the first round and almost losing. Yeah, I just think it slightly edges Anatoly's 2 title wins, which you can't shake a stick at. Again, both brilliant, violent, brutal knockouts, but I just think Christian gonna edge it. Sorry, Anatoly.
No, I think that's fair, and big Anatoly would understand. I think I'm sure he appreciates winning knockout of the year from us, but the thing that makes Christian special, as again, not to keep beating the drum, but is the context, right? He avenged a loss, a very close, controversial loss, and he comes back, goes up a weight class, survives that early scare to win a second belt. Both of those are just special performances, right? Given everything that kind of led up to them and everything that happened in the fights. Anatoly had the incredible win over De Ridder. But I think his win over Kirill, it was a beautiful knockout and certainly impressive. But Kirill was like 5-0 or something at the time.
Yeah.
And we've seen him lose quite a few. We've seen him lose twice since then, or once, I guess, to Puchecha. But that was a great win. But Kirill Grushenko is not Abasov, is not Okreyun. So I think that one loses a little bit of merit just because he's not quite the same fighter that Christian Lee was fighting. So I think Christian's a fair pick for that one.
Yeah, and honorable mention as well to Jared Brooks, as Bobby Brown,
of course,
from contender to champion. I think if Jared had really put a stamp on it and submitted Joshua or knocked him out, something like that in the first round, he could have made a case over Christian and Anatoly. But I think, it's tough. In any other year that 2 guys didn't win 2 belts, Jared might be a shoo-in. And yeah. We've got to find some award to give Jared. Maybe like best promo, best trash talker.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
that's
a good one.
Let's give him that for now. I don't think anyone else in one really comes close in terms of promoting.
Best trash talk. Yeah, or best promoter. Personally.
Yeah, I think Jared. We'll give him an award.
Okay. All right. So then the next category would be upset of the year.
What was our list?
That one's only 3, so this should be easier. Punk Siri Joseph Lasiri beating Punk Siri. Halil Amir beating Timofey in his debut. I think that was a first round knockout. Ilya beating Martin in his debut, also a first round knockout. Those are the 3 we have down. There's surely got to be more than that, though. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I feel like Lasiri, though, is the obvious one.
Yeah, Lasiri, I'll give that to Lasiri. And I think, like you said, it's important to remember how impressive that was and not just forget about it after the Rod Tang fight.
If we're looking for a runner-up with that one, what's more impressive? Halil beating Timofey or Ilya beating Martin? I mean, Martin's a former champion. I feel like that.
Yeah, I would say Ilya.
Also, that was just a prettier knockout. Yeah.
the way he did it was impressive. And Martin seemed like Martin, on the comeback trail. He'd already beaten Kirill
Right. Yeah.
Gorobec, so in the year. Not to say
That's good.
Halil wasn't impressive, but if we're talking about shocks, yeah, I was certainly surprised. I didn't know anything about Ilya Freemanov coming in. So maybe that was on me, but I was still surprised, and I think it was an upset.
So was I. Yeah. All right, Newcomer. This could be a fun one. I have Rutolos, so both of them, I guess. Halil.
Just one entity forever, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they have the same Instagram account. I feel like split up the Instagrams,
Yeah.
people are going to start looking at you as different guys, But all right, we'll say Cade and Ty separately, Halil, Mikey, Ilya Freemanov, who we just mentioned, and Gasanov.
I think the only thing counting against the MMA guys there is they've just had one fight, essentially, right? So
yeah, I feel like we can take Freemanov off. We just gave him a runner-up.
Yeah. I think it's got to be Cade Rotolo.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're talking about beating Shinya Aoki, pretty nice debut, and then winning a belt in what was his second fight, was it? Or did he have one before that?
No, he did his second fight, and then he defended it.
Yeah, defended it. I know it's less taxing to come, to train for those, but what else could you ask of him? He comes and he makes these guys look foolish.
Yeah, and he talks a big game about trying to make jiu-jitsu exciting, and I'd say he's doing a pretty good job of it. Certainly better than anybody else. He's always looking for submissions. He did that like crazy flip in that last fight he had with Gabriel. I think
I'd say runner-up. I give to Ty, possibly.
Yeah, it could be Ty. The only other
I want to show him some love for that. That's Gary Tony sub, and then I think
there's Mikey too, but I feel like Mikey and even Danielle, I feel like neither of them made quite the splash that the Rutolos did in terms of grappling.
No. Yeah. All right, let's go with the twins can be 1 and 2 then.
Okay, cool. Yeah. If anyone, if we're missing anyone, let us know, guys. Best like trash talk, best promos. But what's a good way to sum that up? That's the one we gave to Jared, obviously. But what's a nice name for that award?
Yeah, best promo, best mic skills.
Yeah, something like that. Best mic skills.
Yeah, I think there's no one else really I can think of.
Nobody has been as loud as him. That's for sure.
I would say Jared.
And Anatoly is pretty good, but I think got to give it to Jared for sure.
Yeah, if Anatoly's English was a bit better, he could have that one.
Yeah. But that's sort of been his appeal. It reminds me a bit of when Habib started catching on with people, right? When his English was not quite as good, and he had the send me location, #1 bullshit. You just get these little slivers of their personality in English, and you really get a sense of what they're like. All right, well, that's an easy one. We'll give that to Jared. Runner up, Anatoly.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone. Did we do biggest disappointment yet? Because I thought of another thing to add.
That would be next. This is a tough one. All right, we've got the Muay Thai.
I wanted to add that Arjan Bulla.
That's a good one. Yeah. It's gonna be a tough one to narrow down, man. Muay Thai Grand Prix. I feel like that's probably #1 for me. Pet Yindi, the whole drama there. Roberto Soldic, his debut falling apart. Eddie leaving. The show in Tokyo falling apart. The closed arenas and Arjan Buller's, layoff.
I'm gonna go with Arjan. Just thought of it now, but it's obvious. I think
that's #1.
Yeah, I just think.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I remember putting the story on SCMP in December. Arjan, they created this interim title. I wouldn't think a year later we still haven't seen him back. So
yeah, it's true.
Fair play to the man. He got injured, had surgery, but I think.
But that's not it, right? I mean, he's been since May of last year. Yeah. There's lots of people get injured and still manage to come back pretty quickly.
And this is stuff he's talked about as well. Like, I want to go wrestling and I want to go back to UFC.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like he wants to be there. So, that's a big disappointment to me. I would say Eddie, maybe my runner-up.
What about the Grand Prix, though? That was just disappointment after disappointment.
Yeah, but I wasn't personally invested in that. I did personally want to see Eddie fight Christian Lee for the belt one day.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All right.
think
Well, let's put
those are
Eddie as
my
the
two.
runner. Yeah, that's fine with me. Event of the year would be next.
Oh, the Lineker
We got
Cup Smash. So Magic. Do we do?
see. There's a
That
lot.
was
There's a lot of things
yeah.
that kind of warrant mention here. I'll mention
But
all of
I
these
don't think that
things.
would overtake
Yeah.
my pick. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that would rival the Eddie Alvarez one for me is the Grand Prix. I feel like
Yeah. Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
So is it just
Okay.
predictions now?
No, event of the year, real quick, but I feel like this
Okay.
one's easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 1x.
1X would be event of the year. There's just so much. What was it, like 25 fights or something? And then the runner up for that, our picks are Prime Video 1. That was DJ Adriano rematch, Pascio versus Brooks, Abasov versus Lee, or Angela versus Shang 3. I think my pick would be Pascio and Brooks, just being back in Manila with the fans in the building, Brandon Vera's retirement. Just a lot of pretty interesting moments on that one. But I'm open to ideas.
Yeah, I think for me, 1x bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And then for the runner-up, I think Manila. It has to be one of the Manilas. And I think just the second card was so much more energetic. Crowd was full. There were people selling tickets outside, and scalpers. When they walked back. Atmosphere was electric. So even if the fights weren't all spectacular, perhaps, I think there was still enough good stuff, and a great main event, and some shocks, on the undercard. Some of the Kai guys losing, some passing of the torch moments. I think you had Brandon Vera retiring. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
There was some disappointments, with certain things like the Grand Prix final, but. Was that in the morning? Yeah.
That was the evening card.
Okay, yeah. So for me, still just everything I've said. Yeah, that would be my runner.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. All right, that would bring us to predictions for 2023.
Okay.
I don't even really know where to start with this one. It's like I guess we're looking at like. The problem is we don't have that many fights announced for next year yet, so you can't make any like really bold predictions about.
No, but I think our predictions have to be bold. So I just want to recap my bold prediction from last year, which was
right. Yeah, try to remind me of what we were predicting last year.
I think I said Angela would defend the belt against someone. I thought it'd be Ham though.
Yeah. See, I remember someone had a prediction about Angela. I guess that was.
I think it was Angela becomes the champ and then retires. I think that was it.
I think mine may have been DJ losing to Adriano again or something, which obviously didn't happen.
So well, no, I think the rest got it spot on, but that's the whole fun of it.
Yeah, I can't remember what mine was last year. I'm sure it was wrong though. I'm always wrong.
Yeah, if you want a bold prediction for me this year, I would say, what can you think of? Maybe that Jared Brooks becomes champ, beats Demetrius Johnson.
That's definitely bold. That's very bold. Yeah. We love Jared, of course, especially after Manila, all the love he gave us, all the time he gave us. But DJ's DJ, man. That is definitely bold.
Let's just make a list of 5 or 6, and we'll come back in a year and see.
All right, yeah.
I would also say Anatoly Malikin chases Derrida down to middleweight and knocks him out. Oh no, chases Derrida down, and because he's lost so much weight, Derrida actually can get him to the ground, and so
you're saying Derrida beats Malikin at middleweight?
Yeah, put it on there.
Okay. Well, here's a bold one. Arjun Buller comes back and beats Malikin.
Yeah, put it on there.
Yeah. Beats him over. I can see him maybe happening like over 5 rounds, just wearing him down. But I don't know. I don't actually believe that. I can't pretend that's a sincere prediction. Rodtang losing.
Yeah,
I see that happen. That's not.
I would say Anissa Mexon becoming 2-sport champion could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not that bold to me, man.
It's not that bold. Okay.
I mean, we'll put it on.
One championship signs Adrian Lee.
I can see that happening. He's got a title
Yeah.
fight in like 3 days. I realize
Victoria enters the atomweight rankings in 2023.
that's a good one. What else? Who is? I mean, there's so much going on in one these days. There's like 50 divisions. You know, like it's. I'm trying to think like what's. That's what I meant about like not a lot of fights being announced this year. We don't really know like what the plan is. Like we don't even know which storylines are gonna unfold this year yet or next year.
Yeah. I'm happy with those. You know.
Anything about the U.S. debut? Maybe doing 3 shows in the U.S. next year, 2 shows in the U.S. next year.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I'll say Angela Lee and Zhang Jingnan fight 2 more times.
2 more times.
Angela wins the atomweight rematch, and then Angela beats Zhang in strawweight rubber 5th match to win the.
Oh damn! Wow, and so she becomes a champ.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then she retires.
Okay.
Francis signs with 1. Yeah. Okay. Move that from Bobby.
All right, let's throw it on. I feel like I haven't contributed very much to this one.
Nate Diaz.
Oh God, no thanks.
No, I don't think he ever would.
No. Yeah, I can see Christian defending his title a few more times. I can see him beating Saeed, but I don't feel like that's not that bold. That's just kind of I guess I'm not a bold enough guy, man.
You're just not very bold, man.
No, never taken any chances. Give me some fighters. Name some big 1 championship fighters. We got Angela. We got DJ. I can see DJ dropping down to challenge Jared. Actually,
no, DJ will never go down.
I think he will. I think he can be convinced.
He told us so many times. So
I know, but I feel like
dropping weight.
I don't think he really even needs to drop weight, though. That's the thing. I don't know. Who else? Yeah, I can see Rodtang losing, but I feel like that's not that bold. He's people lose all the time. Yeah, we got like 10 things here. You can contribute to them all. Do you want to hear them back?
Yeah.
All right. Jared becoming a champ. DeRitter beating Malakin at middleweight.
Yeah.
Buller beating Malakin. That's one I contributed. I'm okay with that. Anissa becoming a 2-sport champion. Rodtang losing. Victoria getting ranked at atomweight. Zhang and Angela fighting 2 more times, with Angela ultimately becoming the champ.
Yeah.
Francis signing with 1. Anything else?
I can't think of any unless people in the chat want to. They could be fun ones. They could be realistic. They could be whatever you want.
Huh. Yeah, I should have thought about this more. I feel like this is supposed to be the easy one, but yeah, I think that's any other bold predictions, guys, in the comments?
I don't think of any off the top of my head. We can revisit it. But
yeah.
I think we have enough to go on. Maybe something outlandish like
Christian becoming a 3-sport champ, going up to middleweight and beating DeRitter.
Ego super born into MMA.
Yeah, that's a good one. Are the Rutolos into MMA?
Yeah, they said they
both.
To.
They said next year, so it's not that bold. Yeah.
Rodtang into MMA would surprise me more.
Yeah, although he has said as well that he wants to do that.
Here's a really bold one. How about this? Anissa Mexen subs, like Stanford or something.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Sweet. All right. Well, we got some good ones there. What do you think, Nick?
Oh, well, I think we just keep that whole list, and then we come back to it in the year. We don't have to narrow it down.
Yeah. All right. It's a good list, man. There's like 6, 7, 8, 9 things there.
Yeah. I think that's it then. We don't want to stay too long. I do have to wrap up a bit of work from SCMP, so I have to actually bounce out of here. We will revisit those predictions in about a year.
Yeah, and I can
And
I'll do a little a story, an article on kind of rounding all these up, maybe if you think that's a good idea. Our year end awards, or an Instagram post or something, just so we have it all in one place and the fighters can celebrate this most prestigious award they've just received.
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, so keep it on scmp.com/martial arts for that. Come, we'll have that up soon. Check out Instagram.
Yeah,
We might do some fun graphics with our awards and things.
yeah.
Getting the YouTube community posts going as well, guys. So keep your eyes on those.
Here's
Interact.
this
If you see them, give them a like. Yeah.
this was a nice upset of the year. I was gonna mention this for something else. I can't remember what, but the way Jeremy Miato totally beat up Daniel Williams. I don't think it was so much that he won that was impressive. I mean, it was impressive that he beat him. Williams had a lot of momentum, but he really had him beat everywhere in that fight. He totally outstruck him too, which I think surprised a lot of people. Certainly surprised me. I was very high on Daniel Williams before that. Still am, of course. I still think he's a great fighter, but
fair enough.
That one was that was a good one, and maybe a good runner up for that one.
Okay.
I think we can. I think we've covered everything though.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, we're also planning on doing the kind of pound for pound rankings thing as well. We talked about, so look in the new year for that. We're going to come up with SCMP rankings of each division and our own pound for pound rankings, because we're tired of one not doing pound for pound, and also some of the ones they pick a little spurious to us. So we're going to mix it up.
Yeah, and I think it's nice for the fighters too to really a pound for pound list. Really, it's nice for a fighter to see their name on that list. I think, and then they don't have that on the one website, so we'll do it, man. We'll be the destination for one championship pound for pound rankings.
Hopefully, it causes a little buzz and something different.
And I think people trust our judgment on this. Hopefully, at this point,
they shouldn't.
Yeah, that'd be a big mistake. But yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Sadly. I think I have to leave it there. I've got to do a bit more editing work for some things, non-MMA, non-combat sports related. So as much as it pains me, I'd love to chat with everyone for a little bit more. But that is it, Tom. We must bid adieu to 2022. That is not.
That was nice.
How you say it. Yeah.
It rhymed that way. That was nice.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if we're going to have anything else this year, guys. So if you missed this thing, I'm sorry. Please, hopefully you can enjoy it watching back, and you can leave your comments, make your picks in the comments. Leave it below. Let's get a bit of debate going in YouTube. And yeah, I'm sorry. We have been a little bit all over the place with the podcast lately. It's been tough, time zone wise and workload wise.
We're both on the road too.
Yeah, on the road makes it tough, and we will try and bring them to you as often as we can, but sometimes it's tough. And when we get back from the shows, we're also quite wiped out, and Tom's jet lagged. I'm exhausted as well. And a positive that has happened in the last couple of days: Hong Kong has eliminated the travel restrictions for coming back, so it makes it a little bit easier for me to travel to these events, which I'll enjoy. But yeah, starting with 2022 Bangkok, I'm going to be there, and then we've got the first Lumpini card. 5-6 days later, I'm going to hopefully hang around for that. We'll use some double trouble. We're going to have weekly content, Tom, to talk about. So I think podcasts are going to be more regular. We're going to have more to talk about.
Just more to cover generally, man. We've lamented this many times over the year. Just the infrequency of one cards sucks for fans. It also sucks for people covering the sport, just because there's these lulls where there's nothing to write about, nothing to talk about on these podcasts. So a weekly show at Lumpini is certainly an appealing thing for us, huh?
Yeah, well, that's it. I have to go, guys. I've got to edit something quickly.
Yeah.
So I will say goodbye and have a good Christmas, everyone.
Yep.
That's all I can say. Yeah, Federico, sorry a bit late. Yeah, just watch it back. And you hit us up on any of the socials, and we'll interact with you. As always, we'll put out our winners on Insta. You can all debate in the comments there. Yeah, I don't think we'll be doing another show before January. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do something, but I'm flying back to UK on Monday. And it's going to be pretty hectic. Yeah, seeing family and friends. So we'll probably see you in January, everyone. And it's going to be action-packed schedule. So Merry Christmas and all that stuff. Yeah. Tom, final word from you.
Happy holidays, happy new year. Thanks for supporting this year, everybody. Thanks for following along on YouTube and our social media channels. Thanks for reading the articles we've written, supporting us while we've been at the shows live. Yeah, it's been a pleasure for us, and it wouldn't be possible without everyone following along. So we really appreciate everyone that kind of makes up this little community we've formed here. And it's going to be even better next year. So yeah, thanks, and lots to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Nick, for everything this year. Nick has been running the show, making sure these podcasts happen, editing my articles. I mean, without Nick, there would be no SCMP Martial Arts. You wouldn't have the One Championship coverage that you have. I feel like we've become a bit of a destination for One Championship coverage. It wouldn't be possible without Nick Atkins. So thank you, Nick, for everything, man. Sincerely.
It's back at you. It wouldn't be possible without Tom. So it's genuinely,
The dream team.
Tom does a lot of work that I'm not able to do because of my other responsibilities on the desk. So yeah, he keeps the content cranking out, week in, week out. When there's no events, nothing to talk about. So thank you, everyone. Please like and subscribe as well, and yeah, check out the website scmp.com/martial arts. It's free. There's no paywall. You don't have to subscribe like you do with other stuff on SCMP. Every martial arts article is free to read. Give us some love on there. Winter TV, nice to meet you as well in the Philippines. Appreciate you. Yeah, a lot of people came up to us as well. That was really fun. That was a real nice moment. Just that week in particular, I had about 5 or 6 different encounters with different fans from the channel. So if you ever see us around, yeah, we're very easygoing guys. We'll always chat. We love to see fans and people who watch us. Anyway, Bobby Brown, yes. See you for the next fight companion. We'll get Drake and John, not Drake and Josh, to keep saying. Back running that thing again. They did a great job for Manila. Yeah, we'll see you all next time. Merry Christmas.